the news moving as fast as it does, um, this may not really be news by the time I get done with this. It would have been hot a few days ago, obviously. I've been not too happy with what went on with the whole representative from Florida. Made me a little upset, so I decided that I better sit back a while so calm myself down because I really like to tell you what's going on and not really make things about me. But I guess I'm going to be making this a little bit about me. Are now I'm well aware that many things in DC aren't what they appear to be at first glance. There may be more information yet to come out, and this may be part of some other elaborate plan that involves things that aren't obvious. Some kind of negotiating tactic where we actually get something beneficial on the other side of it. So, what is this thing? Representative Luna sided with the Democrats on a rule change in Congress to allow congresswomen who have babies to have 12 weeks of voting from home, otherwise known as proxy voting. The fact that she crossed the aisle doesn't bother me. People like Rand Paul and Tom Massey and in his day Matt Gaetz did it all the time. It's really about the issues. And for the most part, I don't care about the whole team nonsense. It's the issue that matters. Now, I found this move to be so idiotically wrong that my first reaction was, did somebody threaten your family or something? So, what's the problem here? Well, there's a lot of them. I'll talk a little bit about the controversial part first. Uh, Apparently, invoking a rules change, she ended up gumming up the works in terms of discharge petitions dealing with the SAVE Act and a few others. This is in part controversial because Speaker Johnson's involved. Speaker Johnson's a weasel. That said, I realize this rule change may not have necessitated shutting down the discharge process, and it may not have required recessing Congress. Expect a seat from. I have or had higher expectations of Luna. Even if this wasn't necessary, Johnson did warn her it was going to happen, which leads to the problems. Uh, First, this is a BS proposal. Nobody elected you to do this. This benefits only you and a handful of congresswomen. Remember the particular age our Congress is, the amount of women involved is actually rather tiny. By playing chicken with Johnson, you squandered valuable days that could have been used in enacting an agenda that benefits most Americans rather than forcing a rule change that's completely unnecessary and is at best a demand for convenience for yourself and a very small group of people. This demand for convenience applies to no more than 18 women in Congress. Had Kroc do a run and say, hey, which women in Congress could reasonably become pregnant based on age? Because of this stunt, the number was 18, obviously. Because of this stunt, some things are not going to get done. You were warned this was going to happen, and you did it anyway. So 18 women on the government payroll are apparently more important than 330 million Americans. You could have showed up to the vote with a baby in tow. You can leave the baby with a staffer for a few minutes to come in and vote. Didn't need to do this. By the way, and I'm sure she's well aware of this, Congress has its own brand new $18 million daycare facility just for this very purpose. And this is really just the beginning of the issue. First, there's a major question out there on whether proxy voting is even constitutional. This may be wholly illegal to do. And it's something that's been in contention. It's one of the reasons why they pulled everyone back after COVID to go do their jobs again. And the issue hadn't came up again until this. If it keeps going forward, it may force some kind of ruling to determine its constitutionality. And I don't think that was her goal. I think she wanted her little gimme. Now, we just went through major efforts to eliminate proxy voting, and now we need a special exemption. Her. This is a slippery slope because immediately after this was proposed, they started pushing to say, hey, the husbands of women who have babies in Congress should get 12 weeks off as well. Realize that with in person voting, I mean, with people actually coming to Congress, it took us 5 months to find out that Congresswoman Kay Granger, pictured here, was in assisted living for dementia. 5 months she was in an assisted living facility, and nobody realized it, even with all of media watching. Proxy voting is absolutely a slippery slope. It will spread like a disease to the point where staffs can hide their aging congressmen. We would be not very far away from having voting and dead congressmen voting for months. Proxy voting can't be allowed. We just fired thousands of government workers for working from home. And now you want a special cutout so you and a handful of people can work from home. There's a huge tug of war going out there in the entire American workforce over working from home versus working in the office. What processing malfunction do you have for you to fail to see the bad optics of what you're doing? 40% of American workers have no maternity leave option at all due to being outside the size of the company or because of work time requirements. Things that aren't going to apply to you because of your special little cutout. Why should you and a couple women in Congress get this consideration when 40% of Americans don't get it? Are you just better than the plebs? Or are you just not thinking? Which is it? If you plan to have children in Congress, then you have to deal with the repercussions of doing that, just like your constituents have to. Or perhaps you want to try the unplanned pregnancy angle. Oh, please go there, because this is the part where I get pissed off. My wife and I are retired military. We were both in 20 years. We had 2 children. The first one delivered a few months after my wife's retired. We would have liked to have had more. We would have liked to have started earlier. But responsible people with the capacity to plan for the future can do what my wife and I did. We gave our children the best experience while giving the government the work they essentially hired us to do. If you and this other handful of congresswomen are too irresponsible to plan when to have a child, or lack the discipline to avoid having a child, or can't plan for the future, what the hell are you doing in Congress? Okay, so comments below. Did you hear about this? What do you think about it? I mean, really, the best case they can make here is they were trying to create a Trojan horse to do this for the whole of the American workforce, which again is not going to be possible because they're going to always have to have some kind of uh, time window constraints and some kind of business size constraints because you can't do this to small business and expect it to work. I don't know what they were doing. Um, do you think there was some kind of other plan going on that we don't know of, where Luna maybe was looking for some kind of leverage she didn't get. Uh, I don't know what to say about Speaker Johnson. Like I said, there was probably ways around this. It wouldn't surprise me at all to hear that. What did you hear? Could this have just gone forward with the votes taking place this week like they were supposed to? Or is this something Johnson actually had to do? Tell me in the comments below. Please smash the like button. Uh, if the YouTube algorithms brought you here and you're not a regular subscriber, check out my other titles. Certainly have gotten into something you're interested in. Subscribe, future stuff like that. And someone who might find this interesting, share it with them. Thank you for spending time with me again in a future video.